Hi, everybody. Welcome to Phil and Dave's Excellent Adventure. Just Dave here. Today we are talking about the movie Munich, The Edge of War. This is going to be a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen the movie and you are concerned about spoilers, I would suggest you go and watch the movie before you watch this review. Munich, The Edge of War is a historical fiction movie based on the novel by Robert Harris. I believe it's called Munich. Basically, it takes place during the Munich Agreement in 1939, I believe, when essentially, it might have been 38, when essentially Germany was trying to annex part of Czechoslovakia. And it deals with Neville Chamberlain, the British PM at the time's involvement in it. It deals a little bit with Hitler and Mussolini and some other characters as well. What I liked about it is overall, I really liked the cast. I thought George MacKay, who you may have seen in 1917, was great in this. Jannis Niewöhner, who I've never seen before, I thought did a really good job in this as well. Jeremy Irons was great, and I think everyone's been saying that. And I really liked Liv Lisa Fries as well. Jessica Brown Findlay's in there. She did a good job as well, and some other people. I thought the cinematography was great, and the score was really good. The costumes were, again, really well done and really cool to see. I loved all the cars. You know, those 1930s cars are some of my favorite styles and designs of cars, so it was cool to see them. And the set design is great here. I think the building where a good deal of the movie takes place, where they sign the agreement, is the actual building where they actually signed the agreement in real life. So that's pretty interesting. As far as what I didn't like about it, the movie is a little long. It's a little over 2 hours, and it feels like it. It definitely feels like a long movie. It is a little slow, especially at the beginning. Once it gets going, it does get very tense and interesting, but it does take a while to get there. The guy playing Hitler, his name is Ulrich Matthews. I'm not familiar with him. He was in the movie Downfall, though, which was also a movie about Hitler. But in there, I believe he played Goering or Goebbels or something. I forget. He doesn't really look like Hitler. I think he did a good job playing him. He's very sort of scary and intimidating and menacing in a different way than I've seen a lot of other actors play Hitler, but he just doesn't really look like him. And that was something that just, you know, every time I saw him, I wished he looked a little bit more like him. There's some things in the movie that just don't make sense. I guess initially going into this movie, I thought that it was based on real events, and it is, but it's also historical fiction. The main characters, whose names Legat and von Hartmann, are not real people. They're made up for the movie. I guess I'm not sure why. There's a scene where they're talking in German about Hitler's plans in front of like Gestapo officers. That just doesn't make any sense. Like, why would they do that? So yeah, the movie is pretty much, at least those characters are made up. They are based on real people, though. Legat, well, von Hartmann is based on a real guy named Adam von Tromsø-Sols, who was involved in the Valkyrie plot to assassinate Hitler. They made a movie about that with Tom Cruise that I don't think I ever saw, but I heard it was okay. And Legat is based on a guy named Al Rouse, who was a professor and who was actually gay in real life and had sort of written about his platonic, I think, attraction to the other guy, Trott. I don't know. I think that was an interesting thing that I guess I don't know why they didn't just base it on the real people. Like that, to me, their stories seem interesting and they're real. I guess this Trott guy especially was maybe not the most heroic guy in real life, so maybe that's why they didn't want to portray him. And I guess really what this movie does is it's sort of a very nice look at Neville Chamberlain, who was a British PM that history is not really held in very high regard. You know, I'm not exactly an expert in British history, and I don't know much about Neville Chamberlain. But it seems most people sort of think he was sort of arrogant and vain and sort of short-sighted. And they looked at him signing this agreement as sort of just being a mistake. Whereas the movie sort of tries to frame it, especially at the end, it says like, oh, it bought them time for their allies to sort of eventually defeat the Nazis. I don't know if that's true, and I don't know how many historians would agree with that. But I suppose it's interesting to see a different take on it. But it also, to me, sort of seems a bit like propaganda, or it seems just a bit like, I don't know, was the Chamberlain family involved in the financing of this or something? I'm not quite sure. there's another thing I thought was interesting. In real life, there were Czech diplomats who showed up to the conference, but they were banned from coming in. They didn't depict that in the movie. I didn't know that beforehand. I found that out later. But that's an interesting story to me. That's something that really happened that they could have covered that was not included. And I guess I don't know why. The entire movie is about the annexation of Czechoslovakia by Germany, and it's mostly told through the eyes of British people and German people. And I guess it would be interesting to see more of the people who were actually living there at the time, who I suppose a lot of them had German heritage, but they also had their own sort of identities. And I don't know, I guess it would have been interesting to see their input in the situation. Other than that, I think the movie itself is really well made. And it's an interesting movie. It is a little slow. It's a little boring. There's a lot of German in it. So there's a lot of reading, which doesn't bother me, but I can see it bothering other people. From what I understand, Robert Harris is a good writer. I've heard he's a good writer. I've not read his books. I'm curious to read them. I do have issues with this sort of historical fiction sometimes when they take too many liberties. And in this case, I guess the liberty taking was so small that I didn't see the point. Like if you're going to do it, then just go full on, you know, Tarantino and Glorious Bastards. You know, there's a scene in here where the guy's got a gun and he's, you know, he could shoot Hitler, but he can't do it. You know, he freezes in the moment or something. Which, okay, fine. That's kind of interesting. It's been done before, but fine. But why have it? Why not shoot him? Why? I don't know. What was the point of this movie? What is it for? Overall, I think I have to give the movie a 6 out of 10. I think it's a very well made and very well acted movie, but I really didn't like this sort of I don't know, the bias or the agenda, I suppose, that I thought the movie had. So thank you for watching the movie. If you saw it, let me know what you think of it in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night, and we'll see you here again next week.